Ian, good afternoon, everyone. All about the gyro here. And here it is. Here is season 4 for the roadside. This is a spreadsheet that I have created of the most popular series, their schedules. This video not only discloses those schedules, but it gives my initial impression. Here we go. USF 2000, one of the very few series that increased participation, comes back with a pretty strong calendar. Lime Rock Centripetal is Hunger Roaring, but you're going to note there's a second one listed, and I'm wondering if that is Knockhill. Stay tuned for that. But Spa, Bolton Park International, so that should have both chicanes. Snetterton 200, and you're gonna see that configuration a lot in the junior formulas. Orland Park GP, Laguna Seca, Hockenheim, the full length. If you remember when we did the series, we did the National A, so this is going to be very interesting. Rebel Ring Grand Prix, another change from the National to the full length, ending with Tsukuba, Charlotte Motor Roval. Introductory level series, some very interesting choices, and they're getting people introduced to Spa already. Very nice schedule, at least an A-. Let's look at Skippies. So Skippies have a very telling calendar as I stretch this out. There we go, that looks a lot nicer. And it's going to be very interesting to see how this comes to bear. It's a very good schedule, I think. Hockenheim on the National A is perfect for these cars. Road America, Road Atlanta, Hunger Roaring shows up in week 5. Laguna Seca, your Snetterton 200 again. Mid-Ohio, Grand Prix Le Royale at Nürburgring, finishing at RBR. Coda West are finally going to race one of the better variants, Coda West, Brands Hatch GP. Now, here's the headache with the schedule. When you look at the back end of the schedule, there are 4 circuits in the back half of the year that many may not be interested in. Snetterton, Mid-Ohio, Coda, Brands Hatch. Very interesting. I like what they're trying to do with this. I hope it comes off. They do deserve it. This schedule, I give it a B+. Moving on. SynLab PCC. For those who are longtime folks of the channel, you know that I used to not like this series. Then I really like this series. Let's see how they've gone about it. And it's a very interesting selection. They're going to use Legacy Silverstone twice. They're putting everyone on Long Beach, but they're also putting everyone at Spa and at Bathurst. This is a very intriguing calendar when you have 4 classes of cars. It's going to be interesting. Now, the one possible minus is I think Silverstone 2008 is a cheapy circuit you have to pay, but Long Beach, Spa, Mount Panorama, Hockenheim are the 4 main circuits you have to purchase. But they've continued to go in the right direction with this. I like the schedule too. Looking at it, I'm inclined to give this also a B+. TCR. So TCR, there is hope that this series will finally take off. Checking the schedule, I think it's a really good one. Hunger Roaring comes in at week 2. And you notice the wide selection here. There's Snetterton again, showing up in D-License. Full Road Atlanta RBR. The full Grand Prix layout, Hockenheim Ring. Summit Point to kind of give a little bit of buy-in again, but finishing up Watkins Glen, and that is Interlagos at the bottom. When I copied it from the PDF, it doesn't do the accented E's. This is a very good schedule. This is at least an A-. Formula Renault. You know, last year I had a very good season Formula Renault. Ended up 11th in my division. Let's see how the schedule is this time. We start with the moto layout at Imola. Not much difference from the Grand Prix layout. RBR, the car is going to race very good at RBR. Nürburgring GP layout, it's going to race well there. But then the first interesting choice, Lime Rock, but both chicanes. It's going to be very interesting. That's a question mark for me. Barcelona Grand Prix, Mid-Ohio with a chicane, which takes away the challenge of keyhole, but maybe gets a little more participation. I'm not going to poo-poo that yet. Monza, no chicanes. Nice. Okayama full course is actually pretty good for these cars. Long Beach Street Circuit, we had a very good result there. Silverstone, nice result there too. National B is going to be very telling. It's kind of like the intermediate length layout, if memory serves. Hunger Roaring at the end. Outside of Lime Park chicanes, which the car may be too quick for that circuit, this is an outstanding schedule. Very mixed, wide variety. This, yep, I'm giving it the first A. Spec Racer Ford. Resurgence in the series. A lot of people racing in the car. It's a fun car. Coming up, Tsukuba 2000, the moto layout. So that has the extra swoopy bit in the middle. Road Atlanta, great choice. RBR, great choice. The national layout at Barcelona, I agree with that. It's the right configuration for this car. Oulton Park with no chicanes. Once again, correct configuration. I think for Spec Racer Ford, you only need one of the chicanes. You don't need both of them. Most Sport, liking it. They go back to the Nürburgring. Everyone loves the Nürburgring. Then you kind of got an off week at Summit Point, but it's familiar. But look at the end. Zandvoort, Interlagos, the Moto Legacy. So that's the one that, in essence, in the standard layout, when you go from into turn 5, you actually don't drive that in this layout. You actually cut out a lot of NASCAR 1 and 2 in that layout. Donington Park National, which I think is an accessible circuit for people. Very well thought out schedule. There's nothing that jumps out at me as why. Even Tsukuba, because it's the 2000 Moto, it's the first race of the year. The car isn't that fast. It'll race well. I'm giving this schedule an A as well. Now, GT4 Racing, Michelin Pilot Challenge. We raced this as well. We did very well in this series. This season's schedule looks really good. I've already had a look at it. Starts at Laguna Seca, the full Nürburgring. Then the GP layout at Monza, VIR full course, Homestead Road Course A. That one is interesting. I think that's one that's got the oval section. Interesting. Sebring and Barcelona Historic, so it doesn't have the silly chicane at the end. Spa Endurance, Road Atlanta Full Course, then Stenderton 200. Here's Stenderton again. Then Hunger Roaring and Bathurst to finish. This schedule is legit all over the place because you have VIR, which is full course, I think is over 4 miles. It's going to be interesting how the attendance drops for Homestead. It is a roval, but it tends to not be the world's worst roval. The only other thing I think of is Snetterton 200. That may be too tight for GT4. Hunger Warring would be very interesting. I think GT4s are great for Hunger Warring. This, A-. Very nice schedule. Radicals. Yes, we are strongly considering the Radicals. And when you look at this, all the big hits of the Radicals. First 8 weeks, fan-freaking-tastic. The only interesting question of this whole schedule is week 10 at Motegi. And I'm going to tell you right now, the Radicals are going to race really well there. Don't shy away from Motegi. It doesn't get the love as other circuits. And I think the reason why is you don't have a long straightaway. You have these medium length straightaways, hard braking, medium length straightaways, hard braking. So for GTE, not so good in terms of racing. But for the junior formats like a Radical, don't shy off Montegi. This schedule, A+. Yeah, it's that good. It's so good that I am strongly considering racing it because this calendar is so good. F3. Now I've pulled the open, but the fixed is the same length. It's just on the other hour, so to speak. Let's see what they chose. The boot, classic, so no bus stop chicane. A gentle introduction to F3. The 300 layout at Sunderton, I think, is right for these cars. Suzuka, the full Hockenheim, Most Sport, Laguna Seca, Donington National. Now, this one, I wish they did the full, because in the F3s, going around National is going to seem like almost a bullring type of lap. But that's just my preference. Donington does race well in F3. Spa, Zandvoort's going to be a hoot. Sebring, Red Bull Ring, and then Hunger Roaring, where the F3s, that's going to be good racing there too. Excellent calendar. This is also an A. Indy Pro. I'm hoping Indy Pro gets some more people in it. They have a very diverse schedule. Hunger Roaring first, then Road Atlanta, then Charlotte, the Speedway, then Red Bull Ring, Belle Isle, then the Roval at Charlotte, followed by, to me, that's Gateway, but it's Worldwide Technology, for the second oval race they have. Bathurst, Suzuka, Montreal, the Milwaukee Mile, that's the last oval race from Everest Systematic Series. Road American conclude. Great calendar. Great calendar. A to an A+. It's the best one I've seen so far. Now, ignore the 991. This is preliminary. This is really the 992. And now, for the first time, this schedule, I have to scratch my head and go, ugh. There's a couple of concerns. Week 1 is the Roval, followed by Hunger Roaring, and these cars may be too quick for Hunger Roaring in terms of passing opportunity. You get the full Nürburgring, the Chicago Street Circuit. So for people interested in this car, they look at the first 4 weeks, they're like, they're very touch and go. Road America, good choice. Here's Motegi. Motegi and these cars will race very well. The problem is this car is close enough to a GT3 where passing may or may not be difficult. It's an X factor. We know Bathurst is going to be bonkers. RBR, Interlagos, Spa, Hockenheim, and then the last race of the year is Tsukuba. It's the okay. We're just trying to get this over with. So there is an 8-race schedule in here for most people. They'll skip Tsukuba. They'll probably skip Chicago. They may skip out on Motegi, may not. But there is a schedule here. It's a B. The races that are poor are very, very poor. Cannot give it a B plus because of it. All right, now the Lotus 49 has a lot of attention. iRacing's putting a lot of love. I bought the car earlier today. It is a bonkers car. I think I'm going to really like it, put it that way. Here's their schedule. RBR, Okayama, Belle Isle, Silverstone, VIR, Hungaroring, no chicanes at Alton Park, then the full Nürburgring, then an oval race at IMS, Long Beach, Phillip Island, and then Le Mans. This is a great calendar for these fun cars. This is an A to an A plus as well. There is not one weak circuit for that car here. It is going to require everything you've got to drive it. We're almost done. Here we are. LMP2 fix. We're now in the B license world. And pretty solid selection. Hungaroring, Spa, Daytona, RBR, the boot at Watkins Glen, followed by Imola, Road Atlanta, Le Mans again, then Hockenheim, Long Beach, Sebring, Monza. Not a weak circuit in this lineup. Long Beach is going to be very challenging in these cars, it always is, but a little bit more approachable. And therefore, I give it an A minus. Now, IMSA. Let me stretch out that right there. Happy days. So, apologies for the formatting, but the way that the PDF is, different spaces. I have said a lot about this IMSA schedule going, it's better than we originally proposed. And it really depends on what car you race. Homestead Road Course B may be a throwaway race for the series. For a lot of people, especially the LMP2s. Will there be floor damage because of transition off the banking? Then you follow it up with, so Homestead Road Course B could be an SR killer for some. Then you follow Long Beach, known SR killer. Then Road Atlanta, known SR killer. That's your first 3 races. This is a tough, tough start. VIR, nice. Daytona, nice. Phillip Island, Sebring, Hungaroring. Hungaroring is going to show that these cars may be too fast. Now, after Hungaroring, Montreal, a great circuit for these cars. Okayama. It's going to be interesting. Remember, that is a Formula One circuit from the past. The concern I have is the LMP2. And you have RBR and Barber. This is a tough schedule. A very tough schedule. If I am an LMP2 driver, and I look at this, I would not race this calendar. I just would not race this calendar if I'm an LMP2 driver. This is the last time GTE is going to be in IMSA, because remember, they're going to GT3. If I'm a GTE driver, this is slightly better, but there's fraught with danger. And if I'm a GT3 driver, it's also fraught with danger. I give this schedule a C, and it could be argued C minus, because you have to look at all 3 classes. This is a tough, tough calendar. Now, GT3, this is the fixed. We also have the VRS Sprint, which runs 40 minutes. Here are its circuits. You have Homestead Road Course A as you have Suzuka and that. So there's your 2 throwaway races right there. But the rest of this calendar is pretty good. The problem is week 12. Why would you have GT3 racing around Le Mans? I kind of scratch my head at that in these cars. But outside of that, it's a decent calendar. I'm going to give it a B-. Now, this is completely wrong. It is not the GT Endurance Series, it's the IMSA Challenge. These are the 6 tracks for it. The time length is correct, 160. Very wide variety. And what may save Homestead for being a drop race is the endurance part. However, do we really want to go around it for 160 minutes? I don't know. Road Atlanta makes sense because of the Petite Le Mans. Daytona, well, you just had a VRS GES at Daytona. Sebring, Montreal, I think will be a riveting race. And then RBR. RBR will be interesting. So I'm going to give it a B. And if Homestead races well, I will upgrade it to an A-. That's the big X factor. We are almost done, my friends. Here it is, European Sprint Series. EES is also back, so that's coming as well. All the usual suspects. If you've raced that series, there's nothing that's going to surprise you in this list. It's a standard series. It's a strong schedule for GTs and LMP. 2s, it's an A-. EES specifically. A lot of the greatest hits. Spa, Le Mans, Silverstone. RBR will be an interesting one. Monza and Sebring. Very good calendar here. This is an A- as well. And that's it. All the major series of consequence coming into 2021 done in relative short order. Anyway, my friends, make sure you take care of yourselves, like, follow, subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now.